Hello, everyone. Welcome to Two Moons and a Microphone. Hi, Shekinah.
Hi.
This is a ElfQuest fangirl podcast from SyFy Sistas Inc. My name is Tanya. I have my fellow geek ElfQuest fangirl Shekinah Smith here with me. I love fantasy, but I keep it real. So we are excited to talk about 3 of the Wolfrider elders. We're doing another character deep dive. These characters are so important to the story. They are just, there's just so much to just fangirl about because they are our tribal elders.
Yes.
They provide stability and wisdom.
Yes.
But like all ElfQuest characters, they are not perfect, but
No.
they set a great example for the rest of the tribe, and they have a very interesting story, the way that they've come together. So we are very excited to start talking about Treestump, Clearbrook, and One Eye. I called it a love triangle, but it's not like a bad love triangle. It's like it's a different kind of love triangle.
Yes.
It's a blended family.
Yes, it is. It is. Oh my gosh. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
so
so much fangirling and so much crying.
Not too much crying, hopefully. Well, I mean,
Not too much crying.
I don't want to get down. I don't want to cry. I'm not ready to cry. It's only Wednesday. Okay,
Right.
so Treestump, for those who do not know, hello to everyone in the chat, by the way.
Hi,
I see some familiar names up there. Sabrina Flamethrower. I love that you love flamethrowers, because that came up in Sabrina's show last week when they were discussing Aliens, the movie.
Oh, I
for
love Aliens
Sin
so
Goes
much.
Sci-Fi.
Yeah.
And Sabrina was like, flamethrower, that's it. And I'm like, I don't know if they want a flamethrower in the woods. Just keeping it real, but I love it.
Love it.
I love it for you. There is a ElfQuest elf name generator on ElfQuest.com, which you can kind of click through names. I think there were 2. I'm not sure if there's still 2. There was one that was like a Wolfrider name specifically.
Yeah.
Or you could have like an elf name.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fun. There's also an avatar maker, so you can like make your own elf self and use it for your socials or what have you.
SyFy Sistas.
Send all the fire prevention mail to Sabrina. Yes, because we know that the story starts with a fire in the woods, so the elves do not want fire.
No, we don't like that. Fire
An
bad.
elf of last resort. If need be, bring in the flamethrower. Okay, so
bring in the flamethrower.
All right, so Treestump is the oldest Wolfrider.
Yes, he is.
He starts out like we begin the story with Treestump being the oldest Wolfrider, but in terms of the immortal elves, he is still quite young.
Yeah.
As we will see in the first slide.
Yay.
Slide, please. They have just met Sava in Sorrow's End, and she calls him a stripling, and he's like, well,
excuse me.
Excuse me. He thought he was somebody.
Well, all right now. So all my years mean nothing to you. It's basically what he was saying.
Right.
I love it.
But we can tell that he's older because he has face fur, which is this indicator among the Wolfriders when they reach a certain age, around 500-ish.
Yeah.
Years old, they grow beards. They grow face fur, which I think is adorable. I love it.
It's so adorable. Yes, it is. Oh,
he's
my
so good.
baby. He's so good. I love how Dushan's in the background just cracking up like, Dad.
Like nobody's talked him down before. Like he's always maintained this revered status as the oldest. So Treestump is Cutter's uncle,
Yes.
and he is Dushine's father.
Yes.
And Dushine is love mates with Scouter,
Mm-hmm.
and Scouter's parents are Clearbrook and One Eye. So they're all they're already on good terms, shall we
Right.
say.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know, like Wendy has said this, but that all combinations that you can think of the elves getting together has happened, right?
Yes. Yep.
So before Clearbrook and One Eye recognize, maybe, who knows, before
Mm-hmm.
Treestump and, is it Real
Real
Fisher?
Fisher. Mm-hmm.
Before they were, who knows, maybe after, we don't know exactly. It's not explicitly stated,
Right.
but oh, hello, Jackie.
Oh.
Oh, I'm here to fulfill your dreams and get nerdy. Let's go. Let's go. I am living out my middle school dreams as well. Like, this is it. We're doing it. It's all about YOLO, because we don't know anyway. So you never know what's going to happen. So
Never know.
just do it. Do it scared.
Mm-hmm.
Do it. Be creative. Enjoy your life. Live in the now. Okay, so back to our people. So whenever Cutter has to go away, like he goes off on the quest to find the other lost children of the High Ones,
Mm-hmm.
Treestump is like the second in command.
Yes.
He takes over chiefly roles.
Yes.
Everybody respects him. He doesn't get a whole lot of flack.
Mm-hmm.
And we love that. What's another thing that you love about Treestump?
My brain was about to go, he fine. Because y'all know me. Y'all know I'm always messy. Shenanigans. I feel like what I love about Treestump, actually, when he's acting chief, it's just the vibe that he has. When you look at, like, he was around during Bear Claw's time. And I think the first time that I read that Treestump was going to be acting chief, I was like, oh Lord, he about to pull a little Bear Claw. But he's so cool. He's so calm. He's so collected. He doesn't stress. He doesn't freak out. I feel like if Treestump would have made a great chief, like chief of the Wolfriders, he's always got this, I don't know, like this super cool type of aura around him. And to me, it just makes sense for him to be acting chief because he has the years, he has the experience. He just, I don't know, he just got it. I'd be like, you better go ahead, Treestump. You better go ahead. Plus, he has an axe. Who doesn't love axes? Just saying. So I was like, this man got an axe. He's immediately the best character that I'm reading on this page. That was just me.
Okay, so you have a thing for axes as well as
I have a lot of things. I have a problem. Yes.
with weapons, old analog weapons.
Just nothing says love like a giant axe.
Right. Okay. So when we meet Treestump in the original quest, he has already lost his life mate, Real Fisher.
Yes.
She, in the times of the Bear Claw times, the tribe had a healer, Rain, but he wasn't a very powerful healer, and she had at some point gotten some kind of fever and lost her hearing.
Yes.
And was fine, but then tragically a branch falls and kills her. So just a freak accident in the woods. She didn't hear the branch cracking and she could not save herself, and it's very sad. But Treestump has moved on with his daughter Dushine, and they're good.
Yeah.
He's we don't know exactly when this happens. It doesn't happen in any of the Bear Claw stories, as I
Right.
recall. So,
No.
but Dew Shine is quite young, so
Yes.
it couldn't have been too long
Right.
before the story gets started, where we are introduced to the elves. And Clearbrook and One Eye are also recognized. They have a son, Scouter, and they mention a few times later on the story that they had a daughter who also died, and we do not
Yes.
know the circumstances. Lots of
Mhm.
fans are very curious as to what this daughter was
What
like,
happened?
because
Yeah.
I think because Clearbrook is such a badass. Like, a daughter would phenomenal. She would have been amazing, I'm sure, because
Mhm.
I wonder what she would have looked like.
Right.
Clearbrook
Would she
has
have had
this.
her mom's hair? Would it have
Yes.
been like Clearbrook's color? Would it have been One Eye's color, but Clearbrook's length? Like, what is, because first of all, Clearbrook's hair is a mood by itself.
A
Oh,
whole mood.
every panel with Clearbrook, her hair is like down, or if like One Eye is combing it, I just gush. I love it so much. Just love her. And it's so, because normally, we see the elves with kind of like that curly, wavy type of pattern, kind of makes you think like the 70s, 80s type of thing. But Clearbrooks is really straight, but it's gorgeous. The color, it's so sheeny and healthy, and it's so long. Oh my God. I just love her hair so, so much. I gush about that. Mm.
Yes. I have a slide. It's so in the first panel we see like One Eye is braiding her hair, which
Mm-hmm.
I just love that just I love that detail that they put in the story. They're just, but it seems like everybody loves her hair because in the other panel, this is when they were captured
Mm-hmm.
in Blue Mountain by the gliders, and they're putting they're torturing Strongbow. They're putting the other folks to work, like
Mm-hmm.
mopping the floors and whatnot. But what are they doing with Clearbrook? They're playing with her hair.
They were having a time of their lives with her hair.
Like,
The
what
time
is
of her
that?
life. And if I'm remembering right, One Eye absolutely hated what they did with her hair. Like, I think there's a panel, if I'm remembering this right, where he's taking her hair down and he's just fussing the entire time. Because he's like, what in the blankety blank did these blankety blankers do to your blankety blanking hair? He was so mad about it. And I thought it was so funny because I was like, but why not? Like, the gag is they kind of slayed her hair a little bit, but he was not having it. He was really mad about what they did with her hair. I was like, all right, now that's your wife. I'll let you have
Yeah.
it.
He's like, we got to fix this. Like, he sees it, like, what have they done to you? This is
I feel like he was like, this is way too intricate. Like, just comb it, braid it. Y'all done braided it and you done dipped it and you done flipped it and you done fried dye, laid to the side. Like, all this is not necessary. I would
it's
have been
giving
stripping all that.
very Baps, I think.
Very baps. Yeah.
This
Booyah.
it's a lot of hair, it's a lot of dew. It's a lot of look.
They and that was work. I know they took. I'm looking at it now and I'm like, how did so they braided it and then they intricately weaved it, and I know he was sick. He was sick taking all that down. I'm like, ooh, Lord.
Yes,
But everybody
so
loves her hair.
everybody loves her hair. It is beautiful, and
Hmm.
we don't see a whole lot of One Eye and Clearbrook together, but those little details just kind of convey this intimacy that they
Yeah.
have. And they obviously love their son, and
Mhm.
they had been through the bear claw times, so they're just a strong family, and it's a
Mhm.
nice family to watch. And it's it's just why when the next slide happens, I think. I think I have the next slide. The trolls attack. And poor One Eye
I need my water.
is literally blindsided by the troll, and he falls. He goes down, and you can see in the next panel that Clearbrook, in her grief, slices off her braid, then, because that's his, you know?
Yo.
Such a powerful issue.
I think one, and we knew that there were deaths in ElfQuest leading up to this. You know, we had all the elves that we lost to Mad Coil and the humans, and but One Eye's death was probably the first ElfQuest death that I read that really hit me. That was like very impactful for me. I'll never forget the first time when I was reading it. I was laying across my bed and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, we fighting some trolls in the snow. Oh no, what's happening? Oh Lord, God, what's happening? I was freaking out. And the minute that the troll got One Eye, in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, he's gone. But in my heart, I'm like, no, Wendy won't do this to us. Wendy and Richard won't do. No, it's One Eye. You know, that's not gonna happen. When I tell you guys, I bawled my little heart out. It broke me. I was so hurt. I was so hurt. And it was so to the point that even later on, when Lita did her little thing, I was hoping, I was like, please, Lita, I believe in you, Lita. I know you can do this. And then it didn't work. And then I got depressed again. I would never write after we lost One Eye. I was like, why would y'all do this to us? And when she cut off her braid, I was a wreck. I was destroyed.
Such an iconic moment in the story. I mean,
yes.
I couldn't not include it. And I mean, it's like you said, we had seen some other altercations. We knew that death was a real thing, that there are real consequences in the story. And in that same issue, Cutter is also wounded. So it's like they had just gotten away from the gliders, sort of.
It was a lot going on.
I mean, it was like, what? Like I had borrowed the books from a friend of mine. So I had read like book 3 and I'm like, what is going on? Oh my God. Like I got to get this book. Like Al said, I need, and it just comes like that book 4 in the original like bound graphic novels, forget it. I cannot imagine being back when the issues were coming out like once every other month
and having to wait. Oh, couldn't have been me. Jeez Louise.
I'm sorry. Yes, One Eye is dead, but it is a very interesting story with One Eye. He's mortally wounded. And Clearbrook has cut her braid and wrapped it around his body. And soon after, the Go-Backs, another tribe of elves, have rescued the Wolfriders. The gliders have abandoned them.
Yep.
In the fight. These extra souped up trolls have been warring with the Go-Backs for a millennia.
Whoa, yeah.
So they just, they swoop in, the go backs like swoop in and get everybody back to their lodge. So One Eye's body is left there. And
Mhm.
I don't know how much we've talked about the preservers. The preservers are these fun creatures. They're helpers to the elves. They have
Mhm.
come from the original planet with the elves. They were in the palace ship with these elves and the trolls. And the preservers make this stuff called wrap stuff
Mhm.
that can preserve the elves like outside of time. Basically, it's like suspended animation or something.
Mhm.
It's this magical thing in ElfQuest lore. So one of the preservers, Petalwing, sees what Clearbrook has done with cutting her hair and wrapping it on One Eye's body, and she's like, "Oh, she wanted to make wrap stuff." So he's placed in wrap stuff, his body, and
Mhm.
Two Edge finds him and brings him to the troll caverns there, and he serves as this like example for the Wolfriders on how to wear armor, because Two Edge wants to ramp up this war between the elves and the trolls, because
Mhm.
he's part elf and he's part troll, and he thinks if they fight it out, he can figure out which part he should be.
Yeah.
It's so deep. I mean, the story is crazy. That's for another time, where we can't get too
Ooh.
into the weeds with that, but
That was deep.
it's so deep. So God. But by happenstance, the preservers have wrapped One Eye in the ones in the wrap stuff, and
Mhm.
his soul had not yet escaped his body. So when they are reunited and Lita is there, she can sense that his soul is still there.
Mhm.
And she thinks that she's going to try to heal him, like bring him back.
Right.
But she's got to open the wrap stuff to do it. She thought she could open the wrap stuff and start the healing fast enough so that she could, pull it off. But
Mhm.
as soon as she cuts it open, his soul escapes. But she's such a powerful healer, and she is so determined to beat death, because she's seen all this death with this war.
Mhm.
And as a healer, that is like, it's repulsive to her. She wants to win against death. That's how she became such a powerful healer in the first place, by just, she didn't ever want death to beat her in a way. Death was her adversary.
Yes.
So she heals his body, but his soul has already escaped, and
Yeah.
it does not want to return because
Mm-mm.
he has moved on. So the body lives, but the soul is not there. So it's like Clearbrook has lost him again, like for a
Yeah.
second time.
Yep. Yep. That. Ooh. And I didn't get it when I was younger. When I was younger and I read it, I didn't get it. And then you know how periodically you get ElfQuest and you just have to reread everything all over again. And in one of my rereading sessions, probably like the 25th time that I reread it, I was sitting there, I'm like, you got to understand how painful that is, because the soul of the person who you love, friend of your mind, body, and soul, is completely gone. And yet his body, the vessel, is still living. So it's like, I have you, but I don't have you. And that's got to be so hard. I could not even imagine how agonizing that was for her, to sit there and know that the body is still breathing, but he is gone. That's got to be a tough one. And Lita really learned something from that. I hate that it had to happen for her to learn it, but she learned something. It was a very humbling experience for her. But poor Clearbrook. Ugh. Sheesh.
Absolutely. Yes, so well said. So, yes, before they discover that that Lita has done this attempted healing with one eye, they have to fight to get the palace back. They have to fight these trolls, and Clearbrook is on a mission
Oh, yeah.
to get revenge
Mm-hmm.
on these trolls. And she also blames Two Edge, even though I don't think he started the war, but he definitely used the war and he helped. I don't know what the word is, like just ratchet it up a little bit, and to get to this like final battle,
Mm-hmm.
he is orchestrating those. He is pulling those strings.
Mm-hmm.
So she wants revenge against Two Edge, and she wants just like blanket revenge against all of those like Ice Mountain like trolls. And this is where her like warrior, total badass, like strong ElfQuest woman, Wolfrider
Mm-hmm.
just shows, and
Yes.
it is a sight to see. But she's not like, I mean, she is bloodthirsty in this.
Oh, she wild.
I was gonna include the one where she's like going at the troll with like the two knives, but I thought that might be too gory for everyone. So
Woo! She did not come to play. Whoa.
serious, so serious.
And I think it got me, it shocked me because in what we saw of Clearbrook before then was always so like docile and elegant and sweet. And when she snapped, it was like, oh yeah, she got wolf blood in her for real. It was like a reminder, like, baby, I am feral. You do you not know
Oh,
what's in my blood? I am an animal, literally. You want to play with me? And it was like, I didn't think that she was capable of that. And it's crazy because you know that all the Wolfriders in their own way, they're skilled hunters, but you don't really see them as much as warriors. So when she snapped, mm, I was like, girl, you crazy, but I'm here for it. You kill him. I was excited. Like, get him, girl. Get your revenge.
yeah.
So
I
bad.
mean, it just goes back to how like multifaceted the characters are, because you're right. I mean, her name is Clearbrook. Like she's
Mm-hmm.
calm and she's like a pure stream, just not, she'd always been very like wise and
Yes.
measured,
Mm-hmm.
and then she just loses it. And Treestump he sees this grief because he had lost his life mate,
Mm-hmm.
and this is where their relationship starts to kind of develop on
Yes.
screen. I think I have a slide. So this is right after One Eye has gone down on the battlefield, and Treestump is trying to comfort her, and she is completely stunned. And he's just, trying whatever he can for her to like drink some soup and give her some kind of comfort, but he knows that, it's hard to reach her right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I have a slide of all of the like the battle where she is like fierce. If I could have the next slide. Yes. I love the armor.
Gosh, that armor was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. Jeez, she was just like, go ahead, girl.
Yeah, she is ready to defend, And so in the end of the original quest and then in Siege of Blue Mountain, she gets her revenge. She gets her revenge and she serves looks because the outfits from Siege of Blue Mountain to the end of Final are serving. She
serve
every single outfit.
Jeez. Lord.
Amazing. Just 100%. So she gets Two Edge, but she doesn't kill him, but she does stab him pretty good. And then he saves her and he sort of gets why she was so mad at him. Cause he's working through all of his like serious mental
problems.
Trauma. Two Edge is a whole other story. It is a lot. He is complicated.
He is very complicated. I'm scared to even. I wanted when I was starting to film the ElfQuest character reactions, I wanted to do Two Edge, and I said I can't touch that. I'm not touching that with a 500-foot pole because ain't no way that I was like that creature. Yeah. Talk about a web. So
A web. I mean, he's
so
a mess.
complex. He's a hot mess.
It's not all his fault.
It's not. He is a product of his mama was crazy. He's a product. But gee Lord, he is a top selling product. He is
brilliant.
Very brilliant. But crazy.
A lot of brilliant people are.
A lot of them are.
Yes. So we get to Siege of Blue Mountain and One Eye has been re-encased in wrap stuff because Clearbrook is not ready to let go of his body. She thinks that, he may someday decide to return to the body and then they could be together again. So Treestump's in a holding pattern. But a lot is popping off in Siege of Blue Mountain. One of the gliders, Aurori, has kidnapped Dushine's baby. She's tried to give the baby back to Winnowill, the head of the gliders, because Aurori is trying to get away from Blue Mountain because it is terrible. Toxic. And Winnowill does some just more sick stuff.
God, I hate her so much. I love her.
Poor Wynkin. I mean, anyway, you should read it because it's a lot and that's a whole, I don't want to get too far off, go down that path, but things occur. Siege of Blue Mountain, and so Dushine has been she's trying to get her baby back. Treestump has to be the chief in charge because Cutter is trying to build an alliance with some humans so that they can help these elves overthrow the gliders because the gliders are this constant threat. At where this place in the story. Winnowill has the mind control abilities and she's thirsty for power. Lord Vol died with the trolls at the end of the original quest, so it's just a lot. I mean, yes. A lot is going on. So Treestump is trying to keep it together. Like you said, he's a great chief, like second in command chief. He is the tribal elder. But it's stressful. So I have another slide. This is one of those other just great moments from the story. He's trying to keep it together. Yeah. Clearbrook is with him. He's sharpening his sword, or maybe it's his axe, and you just see his like hands shake a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and they embrace. So
I love
beautiful.
them so much. I love them so much. I love how there's always sometimes just the simplest things can convey such powerful emotions. So we used to talk about how when Rayak stole the palace with Lita and the babies, and we always talk about that iconic scene where Cutter just kind of breaks down with Nightfall and Redlance. And everybody always talks about like, because that's a powerful scene. But that one there with Treestump and Clearbrook is a very close one for me with that, because the way that it's conveyed, you see, he's trying to be like, okay, this is where we are right now. This is what we have to do. But that's his baby and his grandbaby
Mm-hmm.
trapped up in that hellhole with them crazy little heifer. And he's stressed, but he's trying to hold it together. And the fact that Clearbrook immediately recognizes it and immediately launches herself to comfort him, and he allows himself to be comforted by her in that moment. He even like he chokes, so you know he's like fighting back tears. Like, I just love it so much. It just, and I think that's when I was really kind of like, I was peeping. I was like, Treestump, Clearbrook, I'm peeping something here. I just love it so much.
I wonder. Yes, I
I was like,
think.
this is emotionally very good, but also the Queen of Shipping. I'm like,
Yeah, I think they're all kind of like in some ways together, because
mm-hmm,
Dewshine and Scout are together, and Scouter's being like this great stepdad to Windkin,
mm-hmm.
because Tildak is he don't want to be with her. So
Till that.
yeah, whatever. So I feel like they're kind of together, but they're not, because in that other slide that I had from the
See,
start of
was it
Kings of the Broken
King's?
Wheel, he's
Yes.
like, you guys need whatever she has to work it out with
Yeah.
One Eye, and this One Eye's being in, alive
Mm-hmm.
in this like limbo.
Yeah. He
So he's
literally
treading
says
very carefully.
very carefully, because he literally says, like, I until you and One Eye figure this out, because his spirit was in the palace at that point. So, because I believe when she was walking away, he said something like, I know you're not walking alone. But he's like, until you and One Eye figure this out, I cannot call you more than friend. I can't call
Mm-hmm.
you more than friend. And I was like, I love
He's
you
a
so.
class act, man.
He is so classy. I was like, see, this is why I love older men. But it was just the fact that he takes into account is not just his feelings, because he obviously feels something for her. He obviously cares for her, and we know that he cares for her. They care for each other because they're pack mates.
Mm-hmm.
They come from the same time. Their children are together. You know that in Wolfrider faction they care for each other, but he cares for her. You
He
know,
cares deeply,
he
and
cares deeply for her, but he's willing to say, you know what? In spite of how I feel about you, I cannot, in good conscience, go any further than this until you are at a certain place, until you and One Eye are at a certain place. I can't. And he respects that. I'm sure it hurts. Ho Ting
mm-hmm.
Ting, I'm sure it hurts. But he's like, no, I'm gonna chill until you tell me, let's go. I'm gonna pump my brakes. And I was like, you a king for that. Just
He is. He's the best. I mean, I always kind of identified because, my mom had died when I was young. And so it was just me and my dad. And, my dad is he's like a gentleman. He's beyond reproach, in my opinion. I am a daddy's girl. So I always loved that tree stump, dew shine relationship. And, and they don't show him with romantically at all until this thing happens with Clearbrook. So
yes,
we don't know where. I mean, we know they're all denning together, kind of doing what Wolfriders do, or elves. All of the elves are pretty free with their love, but yeah, but he doesn't have one steady,
right.
And nobody else is near his age besides. He's older than everybody. So
than literally everybody. Yes. He's
but
the
it
elder.
is a small group.
It is a very small group. Yes. So I was happy for him when things started developing.
Yes.
Because you're so used to seeing just him by himself, just him alone. So when things start,
yeah, and the older people need love too.
They do.
It's not all once the kids are grown.
No, he got a heart.
As a 50-year-old, I love that. I can appreciate that now that I'm older. Good for them.
That's right. Go on with your bad selves.
Exactly. So so they've figured out a way to move on with One Eye. As they say in ElfQuest lore, the Wolfrider souls can roam free. So I think it would come to visit her Clearbrook in the palace, or his soul was staying close to the palace, but it was not bound to the palace,
right?
Like the souls of all of the other immortal elves that did not have that mixing of the blood with the wolves. So
right.
So the Wolfriders are bound to that world of two moons. And all of the other souls, all of the other progeny of the high ones, of these first comers, all of their souls go back to the palace because it is literally forged from the matter of their home world. So that's what it's like, a magnet.
Yeah.
Or their power, their souls just go back there, and it empowers the palace. So after the events of Siege of Blue Mountain, it gets a huge recharge because events happen at the end of Siege. A lot of the glider's souls are free to be away from Winnowill and go into the palace. And so the palace is recharged, and therefore all of the other elves that are near the palace, their powers and their old world powers from their first homeworld start really gearing up. And they're also further along in the Wolfriders in particular, are further along in their away from the wolf blood, where it was Timorn, where he was half wolf, half elf. They're the amount of wolf blood is a lot less, so they're a lot more powerful as well. So we have Kings of the Broken Wheel, where Clearbrook and Treestump have come together. They're officially life mates. They don't say if they've shared their soul names. We don't know, but we get this beautiful splash page from my favorite issue of ElfQuest, of Kings of the Broken Wheel, issue 7. And Clearbrook is able to regrow her hair. So this is a great slide. I love this.
I just love this so much. Oh, I love this scene so much. It's so freaking gorgeous. It's so beautiful. It's so peaceful. Ah, I just love it. I always use that picture of Nightfall for my pictures. I'm like, nightfallshewolf@gmail.com. That picture. They're like, girl, that's the wrong skin tone. I'm like, you better let me live my life.
It is fantasy. So
It is fantasy. Don't play with me now. If I could have changed the color, I would have. I didn't know how to do all that. But I
we
just,
see Treestump like dutifully combing out her hair.
she just
So
looks
she's got a new
so
one.
happy. She's just so like, it's just such the vibe around them is just so, it's so happy. It's so peaceful. I'm so, they deserve it. They deserve it so much.
And they move on. They keep moving on.
Mhm.
So after this, there's the Shards War. I don't want to get too into it. That's another
Ugh.
complicated story.
Mhm.
But just know Treestump is there doing his Treestump things, and Clearbrook as well. They are, they're warriors, they're
Yep.
elders.
Yep.
They get the job done. And
Yep.
then they have another quiet time where Treestump, being, this great elder who wants to keep learning, he wants to learn how to forge his own bright metal.
Yes.
Because previously only the trolls knew how to forge and make these
Mhm.
weapons, and the elves had to barter with them to get, their swords and their
Mhm.
arrow heads and Treestump's axe. So his axe breaks, and at this point in the story, there are no trolls around. So
Right.
he has no way to replace his axe. So
Yeah.
he figures, I'm going to learn how to do it. I'm going to figure it out. He's going to find a way or make one, Tamia. That's our school motto. So in this story, the Searcher and the Sword, which when it first came out, I did not like.
Really?
Keeping it real, I did not like it. And I wanted to like it so bad because it had been
Mhm.
so long.
Yeah.
There was such a gap, and this was like all Wendy
Mhm.
doing the art, and I was like, where's the comic book store? Like, I went and got it. I read it. I did not love it at first.
Really? Was it just the plot, the story, like just
Yeah,
the
I was like, I
storyline?
don't care about Shuna. Where's my people? Like, that was, I'm sorry. Keeping it real.
Where my main characters
I
at?
know, like, where are my people? I need Cutter and Lita and Skywise and some
Okay.
Nightfall. Like, they were hardly in this story. I was like, what is this? But upon rereads, I've learned to appreciate the story.
Yes.
There's a lot of good stuff in there. There's some
Mhm.
hints for Final Quest
Yes.
and as I said, I'm 50 and I'm trying new things, just like Treestump, and he, wants to learn how to forge these weapons and doing that stuff that turns you on so much. He's getting hot and sweaty down there in the troll caverns.
I was like, okay, you better do that, zooming in, I'm like putting it up to my face, like, ooh,
Let's show the slide.
Let's show the slide. Look at him. Ooh, clang.
He's clanging away. And let's have a moment for Clearbrook's outfit.
Oh,
This one has fringe.
Sheesh. We love it.
He is beating that metal.
Okay. And is.
He is doing his thing. He's figuring it out. And
I'm all
Clearbrook
flustered.
is serving looks.
And serving looks.
The braid is completely regrown. And I don't know. I guess because like we know that Moonshade is the tanner. She makes all the clothes, and she makes the best clothes for Clearbrook, her friend, for like ever. They've been elders together. They both lived through the craziness of Bear Claw, all of the wild stuff that has happened in the story that we've been following. And she has the best looks. I mean, Moonshade's looks are good. She is always making sure that she looks good herself and her man, but Clearbrook's looks and her hair are like their own character in this story.
Clearbrook's outfits have never missed.
Never
missed.
Amazing. So Treestump figures it out. He's now like the forger for the tribe.
So proud.
He's still holding it down.
He is. He's like, can't stop me now.
Having a good time. So anyway, yeah. So he's still serving as that like counselor to Cutter. You don't, and you know, after all of these wars and everything, he's, you know, he's keeping it together. We have this final war and final quest. And if Mender was not like messing around, we almost lost him.
Cheese and crackers.
But anyway, we want to keep these episodes in, you know, within under an hour or within an hour. But we love Treestump.
Oh, I get mad.
But I have one more look because Clearbrook has the best looks. This look is from Final Quest. This is the final slide that I have. Ooh. Look at this outfit, please.
Let me tell you something. The outfit is slaying. The body is speaking. The face card is not declining. Clearbrook, even the way she's leaning, the pose, she's like, I'm like, Clearbrook, you better do that.
Who is drawing stuff like this? First of all, I don't.
How did they come up with this in their head?
There are no comics like this. These, what is even it's one shoulder,
child,
the bustier, the abs, the whole thing.
It's having a whole conversation. I can hear everything she's saying just from the pose and the outfit. I love for this panel how like everybody else, like Treestump is kind of like, first of all, let's talk about Treestump's body. Yeah, Lord have mercy.
Yes.
Jeez. Anyway, let me keep it PG-13. What was I saying? Oh yes, I got distracted. I love how Treestump is just like, you know, he's got his little wit, his little smirk. Audrey is kind of smiling, but Clearbrook's expression in this panel. Now I said, well, maybe I'm just overthinking it, but when I first saw it, and even now, her expression looking at him is kind of like, I forgot what you did. She's up there like, we may have forgave, but I ain't never forgot. I feel like she real guarded, and maybe that's just me, but I feel like she's just looking at him like, okay, I'm watching you. You slip up one good time, and you don't get stabbed again, and this time you ain't gonna walk away.
You are so right.
Because she is not enthused at all. And she is looking at him.
Dead at him.
She looking dead at him like, boy, I ain't forgot. You You lucky my man is right here. She
Keep it together, rhyming man. Right, like half elf.
You better not slip up. You rhyming a little bit too much for me. That's
Right now, yes.
you got too much rhymes, too much rhyming going on, big dog. You better calm down. I just love it. That always stood out to me. Like, of course, her outfit, her body was like, yes, but when I really was looking at her face, I was like, she not feeling him. She's still a little, ooh, she like, wait a minute. And I love that for her.
I think you are spot on.
I love that for her because she is, child. I guarantee you, if Two Edge were to look at her, like if they would have had a panel with him looking at her, he would have been like,
Like, not another long-haired elf lady.
Stressed. She got me stressed. I was like, ooh. Yeez. You know how you was like a kid and you were like in the store and you were acting up and your mom or your dad was like on the other side of the aisle and all I had to do was give you that look that was like, sure. That's what she giving for me. I got real convicted real fast.
Yeah, you're gonna find out. I will take this newly forged sword.
Gonna know that. If you didn't know before, you gonna know right now.
100%.
Oh my god, that's funny. Now I feel like anytime I see Two Edge near Clearbrook, I'm gonna have to like reread to like look at her facial expressions and be like, is she
Yeah,
looking
let's
at him
check it
like,
out.
let's investigate. Chat is
Yes,
pictures.
Please share your thoughts in the chat. It's
please.
one eye on him at all times.
Literally one eye on him.
Exactly. Just figure it out.
Oh my gosh. I love that. Elf around and find out look. Yes. Yes, that needs to be on a shirt. I agree.
To elf around and find out.
And it just be her face. I'm here for it.
I love it. So good. So those are our tribal elders. We love their interesting love story. And we love that these characters are still enduring, and maybe we'll like get some more new ElfQuest stories at some point.
Maybe. Who knows?
Maybe. Who knows? You never know.
You never know. Mom, pop.
Yeah, but new stuff is coming out, new versions of the color books.
Yes, I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I'm going to talk about that in an upcoming episode of 2 Moons and a Microphone. The new the t-shirts. I think you can still get these on Strands.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, you mean the t-shirt Elf Around and Find Out. I don't know. Okay. David Mizajewski.
Hey, Dave.
When they open the Redbubble shop, you never know.
Hey.
You know, I fancy myself a t-shirt. You know, I think that Trouble in the Woods, that I feel like I had something to do with that.
Hey.
Because I was like, this panel would make a fire t-shirt, and
look what happened.
It was so good. I bought it twice.
Yep.
It stands? It stands STANDS.com. They make this t-shirt, they make the challenge coins that are really awesome. You can look for all the merch if you go to elfquest.com and it will take you to the merchandise and the shops. Shekinah's wearing her shirt too. We're very
I
We are
am.
twinning
We're
today.
twinning, and it wasn't planned, you guys. It
was
wasn't
not.
planned at all. It's just that's just the vibe. It's just
It is our vibe because they don't have a
us.
tree stump shirt. If they did,
Oh, I would
I
lose
know
my
Shekinah would
mind.
have one.
I sure would. I would sleep with it every night.
I
Keep me
think there
warm,
was like
tree
a
stump.
Clearbrook one eye shirt,
There was, yes.
which is it's nice too. They're all lovey together and it's cute.
Tree stump shirt.
Maybe
Making
a
a
tree stump
request.
shirt.
Petitioning. Hey. Or a pillow. Or a coffee mug. Just anything with the man's face on it at this point. I don't care. A pen.
Pick it up. Keep you warm
Just gonna
at night.
This is mine. Me.
Anyway, this was so much fun. Thank you
This was a
so
lot of
much
fun.
for fangirling with me again, Shekinah.
Of course.
Thank you for everyone who's watching in the chat and who is going to watch this on rewatch if you had to dip out or if you're coming or
Yeah.
if you're just elf curious. We appreciate you so much. Thank you to the SyFy Sisters again, SyFy Sistas Inc.
Yay.
Love you guys. Good. What did I say? Feel good, blurty fun. That's what we're doing. We will be back for another episode of 2 Moons and a Microphone on September 18th, 2 weeks from today. We have a very exciting guest, Abby Ezeknezer, who was the voice of Audrey for the ElfQuest audio movie.
Ooh.
Actor, director, producer, all around like amazing creative person. I'm very excited to speak with Abby. So please check your socials. We will provide more information as it comes. Thank you for joining us again for 2 Moons and a Microphone. Shade and sweet water.